Hey guys, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrials.guru. Both web domains will work equally as well. I want to immediately get into a viewer question because I want to keep this one short. It says, "Hey Dan, first off, what can I reasonably expect to get out of a post-marketing observational study? The study calls for data collection twice annually over 10 years, but they will not provide patient compensation for their participation. I currently have 25 patients that meet the inclusion criteria. My PI wants a long-term study to generate a constant flow of revenue. When I get to budget negotiations, what should I expect to see, and what can I reasonably hope to receive?" So, these post-marketing observational studies, I've done a few in the past, none as long as 10 years. I've done some 3 to 5 year ones. But they're all about the same as far as the budget. You can don't expect anything more than like $500 to $1,000 for each visit, which may not be a bad thing for you and your PI because you do have 25 patients who can qualify. So let's just for a second assume that all of them will qualify, which might be the case because it's oftentimes pretty simple to qualify for these post-observational marketing studies. So if they pay you $1,000 for every visit for every patient, that means you're getting $2,000 a year for every patient times 25 patients. Okay, so that's 50 grand right there that you'll be receiving every year. So it's definitely not something you want to dismiss right away, but it's also not something you want to build your business's future on, obviously. But I do understand your PI's reasoning. The thing that worries me is 10 years is a long time, and a lot can happen in 10 years. I mean, I can't possibly predict what's going to happen to our economy in 10 years, to my life in 10 years, to the clinical trials industry in 10 years. So it becomes very difficult to predict over such a long period of time exactly what's going to happen. And the PI is going to be responsible for maintaining this study even after the 10 years is over. You're going to have records to keep, the archives. So at the end of the day, is it really worth his time and his responsibility? The answer might be yes, it might be no. I generally try to avoid these type of studies because I can get enough of the regular traditional phase 1 through 3 studies without having to worry too much about getting these post-marketing studies. But every now and then I do take one, and again, I've never taken one for 10 years. Anything that long term really scares me off. The only thing that long term that I can really think of is my marriage. I mean, I don't want to think about anything longer term than even 5 years, except maybe my marriage and a couple other things that are important. But for a clinical trial, for the investigator to be willing to be responsible for a trial, for one trial over a period of 10 years is maybe asking a little too much, but maybe it's exactly what he wants. Maybe he does want that steady long-term cash flow. And if he's willing to do all the coordinating work, because on these kind of studies, there's very little work involved. There's usually a blood draw, maybe a couple of questionnaires, and then you have to enter the data in a database. So it may be an hour's worth of work for each visit. And for 50 grand a year, it's not bad. I mean, that's better than the average salary for the United States in a year. So those are the pros and cons and my thoughts on it. So as always, it's up to you and your particular situation. Let me know if this was helpful or if you need any more help. This is Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.